the full Commanders schedule. And, dude, like, for me, this is a very, very exciting time. And when you look at the first month for the Commanders, dude, they're going to be underdogs the first 3 weeks of the year,
they are,
including their home opener against the defending Super Bowl champion. At Philly, at Dallas, and then against Seattle. I'm sure we let people call in and give their records and all that. And it's such a crazy, like, mental hurdle that you already know who they're playing and where. But once you see it lined up and how it's all going to shake out, it just feels very, very different. I mean, those first 3 games are brutal. But you're going to have to play good teams regardless. You know it's coming at some point, just a really rough stretch. The hardest part to me, looking at that, at Philly, at Dallas, then Seattle at home. And then, hell, you have to travel to London to play a Colts team that started out like a rocket last
Those
year.
games always get weird. The travel always makes it weird.
Totally.
I don't think there's any question about that.
And the Colts, I believe, have been really good internationally. So I don't want to be discounting of that game at all. But that first month of the season, dude, the biggest thing, because I do think there are advantageous pockets of this schedule. You know, you get the Cardinals and the Titans back to back. Like, there's good pockets.
Till Jeremiah Love goes off for 200 yards, and then,
I think that Cardinals team is going to be god awful.
I think they're going to be bad too.
But the hardest part of this is I don't think we are properly recognizing what 2 new coordinators means. And I'm not at all doubting or like skeptical that either Jones or Blau can be the guy. I really like the hires. I really like the decision-making process that landed on those guys. And Jones has been in football long enough that I don't think there's going to be some moment where he's not ready to meet it, even though he hasn't been a D coordinator in the NFL. Like, I think he has like such a book to work off of that he's going to be ready to meet that moment. But David Blau has never had 3rd and 6, late third quarter, your team's down 10. Oh, and by the way, your right guard busted up his thumb. Like, he's never been in those scenarios. And to have to open with back-to-back NFC East games on the road where it's going to be madness. Like, Philly, 4:30. Those people are going to 4:30 Sunday, September 13th. They're tailgating today for that game. Like, that place will be chaos. And you would have liked it to be like the Pacific Beach is a very long, pleasant walk out. The water's cold, but it's very long,
or
easy
a stroll
slope.
if you're going for a nice, little frolic like you did.
Not fall off a cliff.
No.
Like, you were immediately in the deep end with those 2 games. And again, I really like Blau. If you go back and check, a year ago, I was saying I think Cliff will be gone. I think they'll promote Blau. And people thought I was crazy because of the other names on that staff that they wouldn't promote them. And I was like, I think it'll be Blau. Now, granted, I thought Cliff was going to get a head coaching job.
Yeah.
But here we are. Cliff's gone. Blau's got the job. That's to me what makes the open, like the big first month so difficult. And then I said this to Brian last week. The matchup this year I was most excited to see was Seattle, because you get an immediate opportunity. I actually really like that it's early in the season too. You get an immediate opportunity to see. Now, they had that stretch last year where 4 straight games they lost by 3 touchdowns or more. It was god awful, right? That forced Dan Quinn to do something with Joe Witt. But of that stretch, like Kansas City, that game was tight at halftime. They just couldn't do anything offensively.
Second half, the bottom fell out.
Even the first game at Dallas, that did feel like a name your score kind of game. Dallas could have put 50 on them. But Washington, before Jaden went out, was able to move the ball pretty good. The Seahawks game, which was here, Sunday Night Football, I think it was then the first time we saw the Super Bowl era uniforms, right? Which are now just the uniform.
Yeah.
That Seattle game was so decidedly one-sided. It was such an abusive, beat that ass. You know what I mean?
It was the first time that we saw Jaden Daniels actually get frustrated. He stopped smiling after mistakes. right? We saw him slam the football down, and it's before he even dislocated his elbow. It just felt like that was the first point where you're watching Jaden Daniels, and you're like, oh, he's pissed. Like, he does not want to be out here with what they're dealing with, right? He had nobody to throw the ball to.
31-7 at halftime.
Yeah.
And Seattle took their foot off the gas in the second half, but their defense was so great that they couldn't, like, offensively. And then you get, why is Jaden still out there down 30? Then he gets injured. Then DQ says I was going to take him out the next drive. Like, I'll never understand. If you're going to take somebody out the next drive, just take them out now.
Yeah.
Like, if you already have the thought process of this game is gone, then it's gone. Like, the second that enters your brain,
that's enough.
It's over.
Yeah.
But, so, whatever. That's why I'm really excited for them to get another crack at Seattle, and specifically defensively. Now, presumably, I know Kenneth Walker's gone. I don't know how much the rest of the Seahawks roster has changed. I mean, NFL rosters change every year. But Kenneth Walker in that game was hardly a big factor. I think he had about 50 total yards. They didn't really run the ball because they were able to just throw it whenever they wanted. I really want to see what the Washington defense can do to Seattle. I think it's a good opportunity for them to show, hey, we changed something. Maybe we fixed something. But
it's also a different Seattle team because the defense is different. Clint Kubiak's not there anymore as the offensive coordinator. So what does Sam Darnold look like? We know he needs a system that's going to work for him. We know it worked under Kubiak to a point. Kenneth Walker, like you said, gone. Like, I think Seattle's got 6 nationally televised games. The NFL is leaning hard into their title defense, and this could be a team where they. I don't know if I necessarily use the word regression, but it feels like a team that could absolutely take a step back when they were already a surprise to be in the Super Bowl last year anyway. Because I'm with you. Like, I look at the beginning of the schedule and I see, oh my God, it's a gauntlet. But at the same time, after the initial reaction I have, I'm sitting there live on the air and it's popping out and I'm like, oh my God, this is horrible. And then I go, wait, JP, we could also go the other way and say, here are reasons why these games might not be as much of a gauntlet as you think, right? And you look at the Eagles, and it's like, well, what does Jalen Hurts look like in that offense? And is that going to continue to be a problem?
I feel like week 1 could be a stealable game.
Yes.
They've got a new coordinator there. Mm-hmm. They're not going to have A.J. Brown, presumably.
No, they're not.
That's their first. Their offense sucked with A.J. Brown.
Right. Now
you have 2 smaller outside guys because they just added Lemon and Devontae Smith, obviously. And, like, Hurts doesn't like throwing in the middle of the field. You still have Saquon. You still have a lot of players on defense.
But what's Saquon look like? Saquon took a step back last year, too.
I think they're lined.
So, yeah. Well, yeah.
So, last year, I really liked Seattle going into the season. When we did our, like, division picks, I had them winning the West, and people thought I was crazy. To me, Mike McDonald is the kind of dude. That team's not going away. If you try to think just very big picture, Washington plays the top 2, the highest odds of winning the Super Bowl, the Rams and the Seahawks. But then they don't play many of the other teams here. So the Rams are 8-1, the Seahawks are 10-1. Then it's the Bills, who they don't play, at 10-1. The Ravens at 10-1, they don't play. The Chiefs 15-1, they don't play. Then they get the Eagles at 16-1. They don't play the Pats, they don't play the Chargers, they don't play the Packers. You know what I mean? Like, it is kind of interesting once you get into the meat of it. You just wonder how long you can last. A ton of NFC East games early on here. I mean, half your NFC East season is over before Halloween.
Which it used to be the opposite. They flipped it, so we're backloading all of these games, and now I feel like they've completely flipped the entire schedule with this.
I think, so the first 4 we talked about at length. The London game we discussed plenty because we all kind of understood it was going to be the Colts. Week 5, hosting the Giants. I have no idea what the Giants are going to be. I don't know if you do.
I know there's going to be a higher floor. That's it. Like, really, John Harbaugh is going to make them less of a dum-dum team, and we know that he's in charge, and we know that you have a general manager that's a figurehead that's not doing anything. But can he get Jackson Dart to actually learn how to slide? Can he get, this defense to be, get all of the talent that you have in terms of the edge rushers there? Is it going to be a lot of the, like, I'm showing up and showing that I'm in charge and he's got to be the hard ass, or are they going to buy into his system? I think the Giants there's a chance that the Giants' floor is certainly raised short term. It's definitely going to be the case with him long term. It's just, what is the culture and what does that team actually look like early on? Or is there a long adjustment period with John Harbaugh? I think that's going to be the real telling sign. We'll see.
Sometimes when you're the new coach and you come in and you're the ball buster, like, takes a year to get the team you want together.
And that's the thing. It could be that way.